say a wonderful, lovely Wednesday morning to all of my many friends, also to my many enemies. Once again, this is another episode of Roosevelt Sounds Off, and this is your friend, brother, and humble servant Roosevelt coming back to you with another video. Yes, I know it's been a long time, or a few weeks since I did a video. I guess I've been busy because us who are on YouTube, sometimes we have lives outside of this thing. But, I'm coming to you now, right here in the middle of May on, what do we call Wednesday? Hump Day! And so, yeah, I am coming to you on today, on this Wednesday morning. It promises to be a nice day here in the city of Chicago. And from what I'm seeing or predicting in the weather, they're talking about maybe temperatures possibly in the 80s by Thursday, and this weekend here in Chicago is going to be nice. So yes, spring is slowly but surely coming in, and as always, whenever I see the warm weather coming, I'm excited about it. Trust me. If you are not yet a subscriber to Roosevelt Sounds Off, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button along with the bell icon. This way you'll be notified anytime I upload new content or go live here on YouTube. Okay, with some of that out of the way, I have like a little bit of an announcement that next week sometime, I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. Whether it's going to be like one big video or whether I'm going to break it up in 3 videos. But since Memorial Day is coming up, I will be doing a revised series of a lesson that I taught a few years back here on YouTube called A Season of Peace. Because, as you know, it's warming up here, especially here in the city of Chicago. And whenever it warms up in the city of Chicago, we have more crime and especially more shootings. And it's very tragic that, all of us who like to go out and, even younger people, and even innocent victims are caught up into certain things here in the city of Chicago, all because of the foolishness of some people who just want to take out a gun and who just want to shoot. So we definitely need a season of peace. So I'll be putting that set of videos. If it's going to be a set, I'm not too sure. If it is, it'll be like maybe 2, 3, I'm not too sure. It could just be one big video. I'm not too sure how I'm going to do it. But I will be releasing that around Memorial Day weekend. So I want everybody to stay tuned for that. Okay, so with that little bit of housekeeping out of the way, I want to get into not only just one story, but a couple of stories, because a whole lot of things have happened over these last couple of weeks. You see the title, American Cops Have Lost Control. American cops have lost control. I bring you these things because I was once, as everybody knows who followed me and everything for a while, a victim of Chicago Police Department. And so, I started Roosevelt Sounds Off as a way to speak out about the injustice that was done towards me. And not only the injustice that's done towards me, but also the injustice that's done towards many, many people across this land. So I'm bringing to you some stories today. So this promises to be a long video. So if you want to go and pause this video and go into the kitchen and grab you some potato chips and pour your nice tall glass of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Fanta, or whatever it is that you drink, even some of the unmentionable drinks that I'm not going to mention here, you alcoholic thing, yeah, I'll, wait for a couple of seconds and so you can go and do that, because you're going to be in for a long one today. So wait a minute, let me see. Hopefully you went in the kitchen and grabbed your Coke, Fanta, Pepsi, or that unmentionable drink, and you're sitting back and enjoying this video, or about to enjoy this video, while I bring you this bit of news as to what is going on with the misbehavior of police all over this country. And the first story I'm going to bring you is that of a young lady named Cherish, who was thrown to the ground by a police officer. It is all caught on video, and I do have the clip and news story behind it to explain everything. So right now, let's roll the clip.
What started off as a routine traffic stop for a suspended vehicle registration quickly escalated into this.
What the f?
A Rio Vista police officer body slamming Cherish Thomas to the ground.
No. What can I do at this point? He's a police officer and I'm a $120. So what am I going to do? Fight him? No.
Thomas and her mother drove to the scene after her siblings called them to say they were pulled over by police.
I had 4 kids in that car. I wanted to make sure they were okay.
They say they wanted to record everything on their cell phones for transparency.
I was scared. I'm not going to lie, because at the end of the day, that's the police officer and they can do what they want to do.
Police say they detained the family because they would not allow officers to impound the car. The family says they had the proper documentation, and Thomas's stepbrother recorded this video after being detained.
Just being pulled over, I almost fear for my life every time as an African American in Rio Vista.
The police chief says the family's cell phone videos only show part of the incident, and he plans to release the officer's body camera videos by the end of the week. The videos only show part of the arrest, the camera moving back and forth. The police chief says Thomas pushed the officer and resisted arrest, as her mother, recording the video, tried to hit him, which is when he tackled Thomas to the ground.
I end up getting dipped like a football player.
Look at my baby and how big the officer was towards her. What he did was uncalled for.
As mom and daughter were being arrested, the police chief says 2 other relatives were already detained. He says they were trying to break out of the patrol car by kicking the door and window. He says there were so many confrontational family members that they had to call in backup from Solano County and Sacramento County Sheriff's Office. Thomas just got home from the hospital.
My head hit the ground first. I know my legs hit the ground hard because they're all scraped up.
Her family says they want justice.
I want to see the same aggressive action that he took with my child done to him. Yes, I would like to see him fired.
In Rio Vista, Marlene Martinez, KCRA 3 News.
Okay, get out. Oh, one at a time. Why we gotta do all this? I don't understand this.
The video shows officers explaining to the passengers in the car that they need to take a seat in the back of the patrol car so officers can take an inventory of what's in the car before impounding it. Moments later, another car shows up at the scene and 2 family members get out, recording with their cell phones. That's when one of the officers asks Cherish Thomas to get back in her car.
Don't come close to me. Okay. You ain't coming over by our cars right now.
I'm not by you.
You can stay away, word? Okay. You need to go this way.
First of all, so now you're...
Back up, back up, back up.
No.
Back up. Back
No.
up, back up.
No. Get him off my daughter. Get him off my daughter now.
Here's another look at it. You can see the officer taking Thomas down to the ground from the other officer's perspective. A short time later, a third car shows up on the scene with 2 more family members who police say were being uncooperative.
This car's getting towed. Yes, it is. This car's getting towed.
Here.
You need to stay over there.
Don't touch me, because I didn't touch you.
Okay, you in the street and you need to go.
Authorities tell us they called for backup from the Solano and Sacramento County Sheriff's Offices because of the number of people not following commands. We sat down with Thomas and her mother last night, who said they just wanted to record everything on their cell phones for transparency.
I was scared. I'm not going to lie, because at the end of the day, that's the police officer and they can do what they want to do.
Thomas said she suffered minor injuries during the arrest, and her family says they'd like to see the officer fired.
Okay, now you just saw that clip, and that falls under the category of fair use. I really believe that, it's wrong to take a young lady like this and want to body slam her like that on the ground like she's a full-grown man. That's how come you heard me say that police officers are out of control. And a whole lot of people, they want to pretend like some of this stuff does not exist. But as you'll see today, if I never did it before, I'm bringing you proof positive that some of these things that happen to black people within this country really, really do happen. Which leads me to my next story. And this is about a 13-year-old who was arrested. And this 13-year-old actually has mental issues. And the police, you know, they know that. But after a while, one officer insists on opening the police car door and starts just punching this 13-year-old with mental issues. I mean, to me, police should not ever be allowed to handle teenagers or anyone with mental issues, because why? Police don't know how to handle people with mental issues. As you can see in this clip. Let me go and roll it.
Tonight, a Defender's exclusive of violent video from a police officer's body cam.
In fact, it's a police run gone bad involving a 13-year-old boy handcuffed in the back seat of a police car. It happened in Albion, a city most of us really know for its college university, but tonight is getting attention for the actions of one of its police officers. Local 4 Defender Kevin Dietz begins his investigation tonight. We do want to warn you, though, the video you're about to see is disturbing.
What you're about to see is extremely difficult, but important to watch. The video shows a 13-year-old teenager with mental health issues being punched and pepper sprayed by a police officer. The 13-year-old is handcuffed with his hands behind his back when the officer starts swinging.
Get in the car. Somebody help!
A terrifying sound.
Please! Get your feet. I need to eat dinner!
A teenager's fearful screams.
Sit down. Davian, I'm not playing with you. Get in the car.
And desperate pleas for help.
Let me go!
A terrifying sight. Fists pummeling a 13-year-old.
Get in the car! Get in the car!
The punches coming from a police officer.
Davian, get your feet in the car. You're not staying out.
The recipient of the blows, a 13-year-old with mental health issues. A 13-year-old with his hands handcuffed behind his back.
Close the door.
A terrifying sight.
In the car! Get in the car!
7 blows captured on camera. Full swings while Davion's hands are handcuffed behind his back. When the punches don't work, the officer turns to pepper spray.
Davion, get your feet in the car. You're not staying out. Get your feet in the car. Stop spitting on me. Okay.
13-year-old Davion Cieslak is black. The Albion police officer is white.
You guys do this to all the black people. It's not fair.
By all accounts, the police run ended badly. But there's so much more to the story. A story about police having to go on more and more medical mental health runs. About police interacting with patients, not criminals. This call started with Grandma calling 911. Her grandson was being unruly, hiding her car keys, throwing pillows, and he had a pen in his hand. Police handcuffed him and put him in the squad car.
Come on, man. We got these. Help me switch these handcuffs around.
No. Handcuffs stay in the back.
No, not down there like that twisted.
And that's the way they're supposed to be, with your palms out.
Everything was pretty much under control.
Come on, man. Please, officer.
Bud, my hands are tied right now. I gotta go with what the law tells me I gotta do.
The officer had been to the house many times.
But dude, listen, man.
Davion, we talked how long today? Twice?
He and Davion know each other by name.
Davion, let's stop making excuses. We gotta pay for our consequences now.
Can I go to the hospital?
No.
On camera, the officer says he's aware of Davion's mental health issues.
You know, I've known him for the 4.5 years that I've worked here. I've dealt with him. This is the second time I've had to arrest him for his behavior. And I don't think a lot, like last night, I saw a lot of mental illness.
Police dealing with mental health patients is always challenging, often unpredictable. In this case, it escalates as the officer and social worker debate the next move for more than 15 minutes.
Oh, I want to say goodbye to her. I ain't eat dinner yet. Please help me.
When Davion hits the point of no return, police prepare to take him to juvenile detention.
Give me one more chance. I'll do anything. I'll even clean up. I'll even clean up the police cars for you guys. Let's do anything. I'll do anything, just please.
We're beyond that, Davion, so we're going over there tonight, okay?
No!
Davion is unhappy and starts banging his head against the window. When the officer opens the door to stop him, all hell breaks loose.
Stop banging. All right? You're not getting out.
I have to. Please help.
Get in the car.
No!
Davion refusing to put his feet back inside the car. Police insisting that he does.
You're going to get hurt if you don't
help
stop.
me, help me.
Get in the car.
Somebody help.
Davion,
Get in the car.
Please.
Get your feet.
Eat dinner.
Get your feet in the car and stop kicking me.
No.
All right?
Davion kicking and spitting.
Stop spitting on me.
I'm a pepper spray.
Okay.
57, we can use you up here.
Backup is called, but by the time they arrive, the fight is over. Officer Collins getting the better of the handcuffed 13-year-old. A terrifying sight.
Get in the car! Get in the car!
Only one person in this video was charged with a crime, the 13-year-old teenager. Davion Cieslak was charged with resisting and obstruction and has been in juvenile lockup since the night of the incident more than 5 months ago.
Okay, you just saw that particular clip, and that also falls under the category of fair use. Now, if I had a 13-year-old, and I don't care who you are, you know, if anybody, whether it's man, woman, boy, girl, or beast, or cop, started to open a police car door and start wanting to pound on my 13-year-old, you can best believe I'm going to come up behind that police officer and start pounding him. Now, that's what I'm going to do. And I think that many more of you parents, if you see a police officer getting out of line with one of your children, need to go and start, taking care of that. Because we are nothing as adults, we are nothing as parents without protecting our children. And first of all, no matter what the problem was, I don't think this grandmother or mother, whoever she was, should have called the police on this 13-year-old, especially in the climate that we are in now, knowing that police are much more violent, especially towards black people. And, this should not ever happen. So, this is just, it's crazy. And one of the latest stories that I'm going to bring you is what took place in Texas a couple of nights ago, where a young lady named Pamela Turner, who was 45 years old, was being harassed by a police officer. And, during a couple of news stories that I have read about this particular case, that the police officer who's unnamed right now and has been put on administrative duties, has had contact with her before. And he wanted to arrest her for some warrants. And all the time she keeps saying that she's pregnant. But, according to, I guess, investigations that, the police and coroner did after her death, they found that she wasn't pregnant. But the next two clips I'm going to play you is one video, which is a cell phone video that was released onto social media, where you can see Miss Turner, I guess, arguing with him and then getting into a fight with the officer, and then he decides to pull out his taser, and she ends up taking the taser from him and trying to use it on him. And this is when he pulls out his gun and shoots her. So I do have to warn you that this next video will be kind of graphic, and let's just say viewer discretion is advised. Stay tuned for these two clips.
What the fuck? Pop the ass.
According to Baytown Police, the officer was trying to arrest the 45-year-old woman for outstanding warrants, but she resisted. As the officer was trying to handcuff her, police say she got a hold of his taser and turned it on him. That's when he grabbed his gun, shooting and killing her.
She just fell to the ground, started crying. It was just so tragic. It happened so fast. It was just crazy.
If somebody's tasing you with their, takes your taser away from you and starts tasing you, there's a very good likelihood that it's going to escalate and get very bad for the officer from there. So again, these are things that kind of force the officers to take action for their own safety. So it's unfortunate, but you know, it looks like it's necessary.
Neighbors tell us that the woman lived in this apartment complex. Police are in the process of notifying her family, and we are told that this officer has dealt with this woman before. We are live in Baytown. Catherine Marchand, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Okay, thank you for watching those clips, and that falls under the category of fair use. So you can see exactly, you know, what happened. And I really believe that if this officer has had contact with Miss Turner before, then, I mean, you know, maybe this officer had it out for her. You never know how these police officers are. That's how come I called this video, American Cops Are Out of Control. Especially in the time that we live in now. And you see every single story right now, and all this news clips I'm bringing you is what these white officers mainly are doing to black people. So, you know, the same police force that is supposed to protect us, or at least took a vow to protect us, or, you know, protect the citizens, is, you know, beating up and terrorizing and even killing the citizens. You know, this is just nuts here in the climate in which we live. But yet a whole lot of people always want to say that a whole lot of the stuff that us as black people talk about, and a whole lot of things that we complain about with police or policing, does not exist. Including former Sheriff David Clark. Yes, David Clark, who was the former sheriff of the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Department. I say former because he had to resign about a year or two ago after he had a confrontation with someone. And David Clark, believe it or not, is a black man who has been completely severely whitewashed and sounds white, acts white, and shares the white narrative of everything. He's nothing but a filthy Uncle Tom as far as I'm concerned. That's all he is. So this next news clip I'm even going to bring you is of an interview that he did the night that he was scheduled to speak at the Republican convention. You know, the Republican convention a few years back before, you know, the election where they elected or selected, you know, number 45 for the Republican nomination. Yeah, a black police chief speaking at the Republican convention. How stupid. What an irony. And you're going to see in this clip that he did on CNN with Don Lemon, that he is saying that some of the things that we talk about, us as black people talk about, as far as police and policing and everything are concerned, are not true. And some of these things are not happening. And he blames terror or violence against police on movements such as Black Lives Matter. He says that it's forcing the narrative that promotes violence against the American law enforcement officer. Dude, are you kidding me? You know, I can't go and repeat actually what this idiot says. So I'm going to roll you the clip and let his words speak for themselves and see, won't this idiot be stewing in his own juice. Stay tuned for the clip.
3 officers dead, 3 wounded in Baton Rouge. A really tough day for Baton Rouge and for the country, really. Here to talk about how to keep our police safe is Sheriff David Clark of Milwaukee County, Wisconsin. He is going to be speaking at the Republican convention tomorrow night. Sheriff, thank you very much for that horrific day. I spoke to the heads of the sheriff department, the police department, and the state police down there, and they told us how their hearts were reeling. Their message is peace and coming together in the country. What's your message?
You don't believe that for 1 minute, do you?
That their message is?
Yeah.
That's what they said to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe them. Of
Any
course I believe them
protests
when they say
over
that.
the deaths of these cops today in Baton Rouge?
I don't know that. I don't know that.
Any riots or protests over the police officers in Dallas, Texas?
What are you asking?
It's a pretty simple question.
I asked you if what's your message to the people. Their message is one of peace. What is your message?
My message has been clear from day one 2 years ago. This anti-cop sentiment from this hateful ideology called Black Lives Matter has fueled this rage against the American police officer. I predicted this 2 years ago. So what I want to know,
okay, Sheriff.
do I want to know?
With all due respect, do you know that this was because of that?
Yes, I do.
As a law enforcement officer?
I've been watching this for 2 years. I predicted this. This anti-police rhetoric sweeping the country has turned out some hateful things inside of people that are now playing themselves out on the American police officer. I want to know, with all of the black-on-black violence in the United States of America, by the way, when the tragedies happened in Louisiana and Minnesota, you know that 21 black people were murdered across the United States? Was there any reporting on that?
There was a black officer who was killed today. But
was there any reporting on that?
Sheriff, please, let's just keep the volume down here. So I understand, and listen,
I'm looking at 3 dead cops this week,
Sheriff,
and I'm looking at 5 last year. You trying to tell me to keep it down?
Just please, if you will just please, we can keep it civil. So, because the message to people at home, I'm sure you want, is one of civility.
I wish, Don, I wish you had that message of civility
have a conversation
toward this hateful ideology, these purveyors of hate.
You don't know what my message is.
That's
what I want to say to you is,
these people preach vile and virtue
we'll be right
in the
back.
name
We're
of
going to go to break,
hate.
and we'll be right back. All I want to do is have a conversation. I can't have a conversation with you if we're both talking at the same time. What it sounds like to me is that you're accusing me of violence and supporting something, a narrative that I'm not necessarily in support of. And if that's what you're accusing me of violence, then you can leave. That's not true. I don't support violence of any type against police officers, against anyone. So if you're accusing me of that, then you're welcome to leave. But if you want to have a conversation, I am more than willing to welcome a conversation with you. I don't disagree with you about there is a narrative across the country that could be harming police officers. But we don't know right now, as someone who's in law enforcement, if that was the actual cause of it. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. Do we know that generally the American law enforcement officers are racist? Do we know this?
Go on.
I ask a question.
Do I know American general law enforcement are racist? I don't think anyone is accusing. If you're insinuating that people are accusing or saying that law enforcement across this country as a whole are racist, then your assumption is wrong.
First of all, this whole anti-police rhetoric is based on a lie. There is no data, and you know this. There is no data, there is no research that proves any of that nonsense. None.
You'd have to be more specific about what data and what nonsense you're talking about.
That law enforcement officers treat black males different than white males in policing in these urban centers.
There is data that's.
There is not data.
No. The president spoke about it. Cedric Alexander, who is a law enforcement officer.
The president has been lying about it. He said it again the other day when he said black males are 2 times more likely to be shot by a law enforcement officer than white males. Don, that is a lie.
That is not a lie.
It is a lie.
Yes.
Show me.
Research.
Show me.
The research
Show it to me
that we have from the Washington Post. That
the Washington Post debunked that nonsense.
There's also research.
He also said
Sheriff,
this time.
There's also research.
He continues.
A Harvard professor that also show that black people are treated more aggressively by police officers.
No, you are
than other
wrong in your interpretation of that Harvard study, because I read the study. That's not what he said. He said he was surprised to find
that in shootings of the most severe in shootings, that he found no evidence that there was a difference. Also, it should be noted that that study was a very small sampling of police departments across the country. Many people did not find it credible, but it is also interesting that in that research, he found that blacks were treated differently when it came to aggressive policing, but for the most egregious shootings, he found no difference. That's what that study showed.
Well, based on what? Just generally? Are we talking about high crime areas? Are we talking about police officers being under attack? Because let's go back to where this whole thing started in Ferguson, Missouri. The lie was hands up, don't shoot.
Lumping a whole bunch of things into one. If we can do one specific
That's
thing
where
and
this
stick to
whole
it,
phony movement
we'll get to
started.
it.
It started out as hands up, don't shoot.
You're talking about Black Lives Matter.
Right.
Okay. So if you want to, you would need to speak to someone who is a member of Black Lives Matter about whether they have perpetrated a fraud on the American people. That's up to Black Lives Matter. That's not me. I'm neither a member of Black Lives Matter, I'm neither a supporter or someone who doesn't support them. I simply report on Black Lives Matter.
Do you condemn the anti-police rhetoric coming from this hateful ideology?
As a journalist sitting here on television, I don't have to condemn anyone, anything. That is something that you should ask other people around the country.
I condemn
their jobs to condemn
just
that.
like I condemn the hateful ideology out of groups like the KKK. All right? I condemn it. There is no place in American discourse for that sort of vile, vitriolic hate coming out of this ideology. This has fueled and fanned the flames of this anger toward the American police officer. There's only one group in America, one time, that truly cares about the lives of black people in these urban ghettos. And it's the American police officer who goes down there on a daily basis, puts their life on the line to protect who? Black people. So when you say we just want to have a conversation, let's have a conversation about the black-on-black crime, which kills more black males, which is more of a threat to any black male in the United States than a law enforcement officer.
Sheriff, yes, that's a different conversation. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. There's an issue when it comes to violence. Black-on-black crime, or it's crime. White people kill white people, tend to kill white people. Black people tend to kill black people.
Not in the numbers.
That's fine, but that's a different conversation.
I don't care who white people are killing.
That is a different conversation than police brutality, and we're not having that conversation right now. And again, I want to be very clear with you. I condemn all violence of any type, just for the record.
Was the situation between Mike Brown and Darren Wilson, was that police brutality?
But we're not talking about Mike Brown and Darren Wilson.
I am.
No, if you're asking me what the Justice Department showed, the Justice Department showed that it exonerated Officer Darren Wilson, and that the hands up, don't shoot narrative was a false narrative. That has been reported by CNN and by others.
Was another phony report.
What does that have to do with Baton Rouge, Louisiana?
All right, because when you take in rates of involvement in violent crime, and crime in general, but violent crime, you're going to see that black males are overrepresented. Overrepresented in terms of being involved in violent crime. That's going to mean more arrests. That's going to mean more people going to prison. This stuff has already been debunked.
Sheriff, that's a different conversation.
Every time you don't have a response to something I say, you say it's a different conversation.
I don't have a response to you. Is that we're having two different conversations. I'm asking the questions here. You're answering the questions by asking questions about some other subject that we're not discussing.
We're talking about this hateful ideology called Black Lives Matter. You said you're not a member. You can't be a member. It's not an organization. There's no structure.
That's what you're talking about.
Listen, I understand,
and it is a hateful ideology. I understand it's a very stressful time for you.
These individuals.
And Sheriff, we appreciate you coming on.
They preach vile and vitriol in the name of virtue.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Okay, you just watched that clip with former Sheriff David Clark, former Sheriff of the Milwaukee County Police Department, with Don Lemon on CNN a few years back, and that falls under the category of fair use. Now, you heard the former sheriff, excuse me, in his own words, saying that there's no data that says that blacks are treated differently than whites. He's trying to act like everything's all even and everything's like all rosy or whatever it is. But, you know, we in the black community, you know, we clearly know that, you know, some of the stuff that he is saying is not true. And if you are black, I mean, you will be handled differently by the court system than they would handle a white person. I mean, if it's a white person and they pull them over, their officers are so much nicer and everything to them, where they'll call them sir and everything, and, you know, they speak to them so nicely. And even if a white person gets upset and decides to curse at a police officer, they won't really react too much. Reminds me of something that took place a couple of years ago in a park in around the north side of Chicago, where, you know, some white people, I guess, got into a fight and everything, and police decided to step in and break the whole thing up. And then, you know, the white people started attacking the police, and the police is actually sitting up letting them do it. And just like in Lollapalooza, which is an annual music festival that takes place here in the summer of Chicago every single year, you know, mainly white people go to Lollapalooza. Why? Because the tickets are too high for black people to really afford to go there, first of all. In Lollapalooza, you know, some of the white people, they are around there, you know, smoking weed and doing drugs and overdosing, even having sex out in public, and the police officers are just standing there, just looking, not doing anything. But if black people or Latino people chose to do some of the same things, you know, we'd be treated differently. So even in 2019, we could still tell that we are still in slavery and that we are still on the plantation. And despite what Martin Luther King tried to do, despite the things that Malcolm X and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad tried to say and tried to preach, we are not free yet. We're still treated like a permanent underclass within this country. And the thing is, white people know it. Because the next clip I'm going to play you is that of Miss Jane Elliott. Jane Elliott is a teacher who was an activist, who actually spoke, she's white, but actually spoke up for the rights of black people back during the 50s and the 60s. And I'm going to play you what she has to say about how blacks are treated. And white people are guilty if they stand by and see certain things going on, but do not take a stand. Stay tuned for this clip.
I want every white person in this room who would be happy to be treated as this society in general treats our citizens, our black citizens. If you, as a white person, would be happy to receive the same treatment that our black citizens do in this society, please stand. You didn't understand the directions. If you white folks want to be treated the way blacks are in this society, stand. Nobody's standing here. That says very plainly that you know what's happening. You know you don't want it for you. I want to know why you're so willing to accept it or to allow it to happen for others.
Okay, you just saw the video of Miss Jane Elliott. Hopefully, you know, you enjoyed that, what she had to say, and that falls under the category of fair use. So yes, in this country, we are treated differently, you know, despite skin tone. I mean, they always try to say we live in a post-racial America and blah, 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 you know, but as, you know, we haven't seen it or experienced it or anything yet. I mean, to me, it's crazy. And one of the last clip or two clips I'm going to bring you is, I got to take it back to my home. here in Chicago, Illinois. You know, we've visited California and Texas and everything today. I gotta take you right here to Chicago, where I'm from, even where I was victimized by police at, and show you something. I'm gonna bring to you 2 clips. Well, one, first of all, is going to be it's from a couple of years ago, where Chicago police officer actually kicked a boy who had his hands behind his back, handcuffed on the ground, actually kicked him in his head and in his face. And it's all caught on tape. Yes, us who are in the black community and know and live this stuff and see this stuff every single day. You know, if you see it and experience it every single day, things that a Larry Elder says, or even a David Clark say, you know, David Clark, who actually hates black people, whatever he has to say, you'll find that these narratives of some of these black Republican type of people is not true. Stay tuned for this clip.
Let's hit him. Yeah, we got your ass. Oh, come on, Lord. Got your ass on camera. You gonna shoot us, bro? You pull that gun up, you got your ass on camera, nigga. Bro. Hey, say you finna shoot up, you pull out that shit, bro. Come on, Lord. Oh, my God. Get it back. Get back. Man, fuck, we ain't did shit. What the fuck is y'all doing? Don't you bite me. Come on, man. Don't fucking bite me. You just punched the man. What the fuck?
6-3, follow me, car 3900 block direction now.
Yeah, I am called back up. For one motherfucker? Y'all scary as hell.
39
Right, yeah. Ooh. Get the fuck back. Get the fuck back. Hey, don't worry about it. I'm finna whack your ass. Hold this, bro. Hold this, bro. Get the phones out. Get his license plate, Sean. Hey, get your knee up, I swear to God. Damn, that shit. You don't supposed to put your motherfucker. They putting their knees in his face and everything. Hey, y'all some bitches, y'all gonna die. Y'all gonna end up dead. All they bitch ass gonna end up dead. Look at him. Look at his face. My phone with you, man. He just put your phone. Y'all put your hands on my phone. He kicked him unconscious, man. Get out of here. That's why you ain't got to wait.
Okay, you saw that clip. That was very disturbing. And yes, some of those young men should have gone up and rose up against those police officers who attempted to do this to this other one. Stupid, disgusting. In the last clip I'm going to bring you, and I'm about to close on this one, and I'm going to do my last minute, I'm going to say my goodbyes because this clip is kind of long, comes from Mr. Dion Maples. Yes. I came across his video that he posted on Facebook last week. This particular incident took place on May 8th, and he is confronted by 3 to 4 Chicago police officers saying that he matched the description of somebody. So, you know, I guess that they think all black people look alike. You know how police think. You know. And a whole lot, before I go into that, I just need to say this. A whole lot of people, whenever I do these kind of videos, they always talk about, hey, Roosevelt, you are trying to say by doing these videos that every single police officer is bad. Every single police officer is corrupt. You can't paint everybody with a broad brush. Everybody is just not the same. That officer could be different, but you know, everybody, I don't understand it. I wish somebody would take this time to explain it to me. Always wants to give police officers the benefit of the doubt, but yet they don't give us the benefit of the doubt. You know, they look at us as all being the same. They look at us as all being criminals and thugs or whatever it is. Because anytime a police officer approaches you, even if you don't have in your heart any intention to do anything to hurt the officer or anything like that, anytime they approach you, what are they doing? They always have that one hand resting on top of their gun. That one hand on top of their weapon at all times. So if you have your hand on top of your gun, you're looking at me, like a criminal anyway. So, they look at us as just being, one particular type. Because in this clip, I'm going to play you, and this, I'm saving this for last because this is a kind of a long clip, that longer than the other ones, of Dion Maples, that, one officer was like nice to him, but yet you had one officer who was like very, very nasty to him. Talking about and everything, that he deals drugs and all of that kind of stuff. And, like a whole lot of police officers do. They think every single black person is selling narcotics, by the way. And, that he has a record and all of that. The way that, one officer's even speaking to him. And, and everybody, they always want to say that us, whenever we're as regular citizens are the victims of a crime, we never want to come forth and talk to the police. Why? Because many of us, because of certain experiences, like the one I'm going to show you, do not trust police because, how can you trust these same people? These same people, talk to you. They talk to us any kind of way. They curse at us. They beat us up. They want to kill us. They just accuse us of anything, but yet we're supposed to go to these same people anytime we have a problem. I don't understand that. How can we go to the same people who hurt and brutalized us? Ladies, it's kind of like you being hurt and brutalized and beat up and abused by a man, but yet just because you need something, and I know a whole lot of you women and everything go and do that stupid stuff too, just because you're looking for finance and just because you're looking for security and he got a good job and drive a nice car, a whole lot of you all go back and want to deal with a whole lot of these thugs and men who will go and abuse you and all these kind of things. But that's another topic for another day, another video, another time. Maybe not this one, but you all pretty much get the point of what I'm trying to say. That we're supposed to go and work with these same people who have brutalized us in the 60s, how they have sicked dogs on us and still doing it, how they have done all kind, put false charges even on us. There's some police officers who have put false charges on people and sent them away to prison for years. And a whole lot of you all always want to tell me that there are good cops out there. The only way to me that you can be a good cop is if you know something and inform on a bad cop. If you don't go and do that, if you have an officer, a fellow, listen. If you have one of your fellow officers who are standing right next to you, and you know that this idiot has shot a person and gotten away with it, planted drugs and sent somebody to prison, has beaten up somebody and gotten away with it, has spoken to somebody out of turn and cursed at people, and you just sit back and you just let it ride, you are just as bad as the, if not worse, as the officer who did it. Because in this next clip I'm going to play you is when one officer gets out of line, you have 2 or 3 other officers there around him who are not correcting him about his assumptions and his bad behavior. This needs to stop in 2019. And I think the only reason why you have all of this stuff, like law enforcement officers going crazy all over this country, is, like I say all the time, when it comes down to racism or poverty and everything, you don't have to look any further than who and what is in the White House. And that starts with the so-called head of this country, number 45, Donald Trump. He is the one who's responsible for all of these stories about you tonight, or today, this morning, whenever you happen to be watching this video. He is the one who is responsible for this narrative that's going on in this country right now. We don't have to look any further than Donald Trump. We need to know that we have confidence in our law enforcement officers, that our officers will treat us with dignity and respect. And if an officer gets out of line, if an officer that you see, if you're a good officer and you see an officer acting out of line and beating up a person or doing something illegal, you need to tell him right then and there, look, you need to stop before I arrest you. That's what a good officer does. And if this bad officer insists, then you need to take his weapon off of him and then put your fellow officer in cuffs. That's the only thing that will make me believe. If one officer did that, that will make me believe that there are good officers out there. Until I hear and see a police officer cuff or charge or say something against one of his fellow police officers or fellow brother officers in blue, I won't ever believe it. So at this point, that's why I'm going to leave this video. And like I said, I got this clip coming up, so I'd like to say that if anybody liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And tune in next time for another episode of Roosevelt Sounds Off. Peace and blessings to all. Stay tuned for this clip and watch how Mr. Dion Maples handles certain members of the Chicago Police Department. I think that all people who have problems with police need to talk to him just like this. And this is a smart guy. This is one who actually knows his rights. Stay tuned for the clip. I'll see everybody in the next video. Stay tuned for the clip.
The police have to respond to that call. We have that obligation and our responsibility. Now, when we arrive on scene, if we see someone that matches that description, we are not only eligible to, but we are obligated to stop that individual in a lawful stop and speak to them regarding that incident.
Yes, sir.
It's just a preliminary investigation. You're not under arrest at that time. It's just an investigation we do to determine whether that call was bona fide or if it was someone just calling 911 and making false allegations.
Okay.
It's no big deal, and it's not accusing you of anything. It's just doing an investigation. That's
Okay.
all. So, when we make that stop, we give a lawful order for you to speak to us, provide identification, identify yourself however you need to, so we can conduct that preliminary investigation. And then as long as, if there's no crimes, then we both go on our way. But it is a lawful order when an officer gives it to you if all those conditions are met.
And you were on the city sidewalk when
So my partner was...
Bro, stop talking to me. You can't tell me what... I don't even like the way you approach me, bro. So you got the right to say shit to me. Because I don't even like you at this point. If you would have talked to me like him, I probably would have came down. But don't come down acting like you my fucking daddy, bro. You ain't my fucking daddy. I'm a human being, bro. You feel me? I'm a human being, bro. And at the end of the day, regardless if you got a badge or not or a gun, I'm a man. But I'm saying I'm a man, though, bro. You can't tell me what to do, bro. I'm a man at the end of the day. Regardless if you got a badge or a gun or not, bro. You a human being just like me. Talk to me like one, bro. I don't give a fuck about none of that. Talk to me like a person. I don't care what you need. I might do it for him, but I ain't doing shit for you, bro. Because the way you approached me in the first place, bro. No, respect is the key, bro. You can't tell me what to do. Well, come and get me. Come and get me.
Look, slow down, man. Slow down.
Come and get me.
Here's what we got.
And then at the end of the day, your ass gonna be in the wrong because you got the wrong fucking suspect, dude. I don't care what the call is, bro. I don't care what the call is, bro. Fuck up out of here, bro. It's the way you talk to people. If you want to survive doing your job, you gotta talk to people respectfully. That's why people get the tweaking on y'all ass, because y'all approach them the wrong way. If you would have did that, bro, I would have came down, but you didn't do that. At this point, you can't tell me shit. And if you step on my property, I'm gonna sue your ass.
You got a license that you live here?
They don't worry about what I got. The moment you touch me, I'm gonna sue the fuck out of you. And if you step on my property, I'm going to sue the fuck out of you. You put your hands on me, I'm going to be rich as fuck. So go ahead. Touch me, bro. I got a lawyer on deck, bro. Don't put your hands on me and don't step inside my gate without me coming down. Or you're going to be in a world of fucking trouble. You are. You. Officer whoever. And I'm enjoying my sandwich while I'm talking to you.
So our preliminary investigation can expand to your property. So let's say you own this house outright, no mortgage, nothing. We could still walk onto the property.
He walk on my property and trust me, bro. I'm telling y'all now. If y'all come on my property and touch me, bro, we're going to have a problem, bro. Don't identify shit. Don't talk to me like that. And I'm eating the other half of my sandwich.
All right, so here's what we need to do to part ways now, right? Because we can't step away.
You should have been the one who got out the car. I don't like him.
We all just think different, man, and you don't understand what...
And that's why you're going to go a long way with your career. I don't see him surviving 2019.
You might not have been an understanding human like you. Might have been someone great.
What's your name, bro?
So we encounter all kinds of different people, you know?
What's your name? I like your name, too.
So here's what we need to do to part ways. We need to get your ID, run your name, check you, and then you're good.
I'll spell it out for you, because my ID in the house.
That's fine. We need to sit down here.
I'm not doing nothing for you. Shut up. I said what I said. Ain't shit you can do about it. You're a public servant. Shut up. My name is Deon Mabels. Deyoun. Mabels. Mables. My middle name is Edward.
Deon?
Yeah, Deyoun. It's spelled different. You'll probably never see it spelled like that.
At least people remember it.
Exactly. I appreciate my mama for that.
You got a middle initial?
Yes, sir. E for Edward.
What's your birthday?
12/23/1991. I'm a December baby, 2 days before Christmas.
91? What's your phone number?
312-890-4411. You can call her right now.
You stay at this address?
Yes, sir. But my old address might...
My partner, you know. My partner's
That's fine. He ain't getting it the way he wanted to get it. Ha ha.
Look, we don't care. Nothing's personal here. We're just trying to do our job, man.
He mad as fuck. Yes, you is. You look mad. And I'll probably make more money than you. That's my car. You can even run a place on that bitch, bro.
Your sandwich, so we're all happy.
You're making a lot more money doing what's going on.
Oh, selling drugs? Yeah. Nigga, I don't sell drugs. Do you know who I am, bro? Do you know who I am, bro? Look at my place in Ohio. I own 3 properties, bro. Is you stupid? Fuck is you talking about? I just live here to take care of my mom. Other than that, I can stay in a condo downtown. I don't have to be here. Do you see that red Camaro, bro? I'll have a BMW i8 next summer. Is you stupid? Fuck is you talking about, boy? Stop it. Fuck, I look like selling drugs, bro. Is you dumb? Is you dumb? Is you dumb? Don't disrespect me like that, bro. I'm a working man just like your dumb ass. Shut your stupid ass up. Stupid ass, bitch. Shut up. I say whatever I want to say. You're a public servant. Long as I'm not threatening you, you can't do shit to me. I'm not threatening you. You can shut the fuck up talking to me, and I can talk to you any way I want to. You're a public servant. I'm a taxpaying citizen. You work for me. I don't work for you. Yeah, you heard what I said. You work for me. I'm a taxpaying citizen. You're a public servant. I'm not dumb to the law, bro. Stop it, bro. You sound stupid. You're a public servant, bro. Stop it. Fuck, I look like selling drugs, bro. I just got out my car.
Look, we asked you for your name. You complied. You gave us the information.
I gave it to you. Come on, man.
What's going to come back on your ID?
Don't worry about what's going to come back on my ID.
Well, we have to identify you.
Don't shut up. Shut up. Shut up. I got mail coming here. You want to see it? I can go in the hallway and grab some mail right now, bruh. Don't worry about me. I got the key to this crib. You want me to open up the door? You want to see me open up the door?
That's unnecessary.
This dumbass. Stupid.
No one said you didn't listen.
You know what? I wouldn't even be ignorant, bro, because I know y'all get a lot of flack. You feel me? But it's the way he came at me that made me turn up, bro. Come on, bro. I'm a man at the end of the day. Don't talk to me like that, bro.
Look, man. He could have had an interaction 5
Mom,
minutes ago.
You still gotta be professional, though, bro. I have to be professional all the time.
You could have just talked to someone who came at him the exact same way you did, and then swapped 2 seconds later.
Yeah.
It's a hard situation.
But y'all already got a bad image with people. You feel me? You can't be doing that, bro. What I look like walking up to you when y'all out here shooting motherfuckers? Fuck, I look like I got a 3-year-old daughter I gotta take care of.
Fuck. I'm not just finna walk up to him when I know I don't sell drugs, bro. Never sold drugs a day in my life, bro. I'm a businessman. Fuck you talking about?
None of this is personal. We're just students, man.
That's fine. Yup. Start your car. You finna leave? Dumbass. He gonna feel real stupid. Dumbass. Come on, bro. I just moved up. Fuck, I look like sitting on the corner selling drugs. If anything, I'm gonna be the big man. I ain't finna be out here serving these little ass packs. Fuck. I'm gonna make the big money if I'm gonna be selling drugs.
Plus, you're not gonna have anything on your person.
Exactly. Fuck. That shit sounds stupid, bro.
Look, we're trying to just handle this and be on our ways just like you are.
No.
I need the back of that page.
O-U-N.
Do people pronounce it wrong all the time?
They say Dion. They say Dion. So I just tell them it's French. Because that's how people pronounce it anyway. How you doing today, ma'am? You okay? How you doing today, sir? You all right?
I know, man. I'm jealous. I didn't get lunch.
Do y'all eat Potbelly? Way better than Subway, bro. And it's called a wreck.
They have the good jardinera, man. Subway's jardinera is just some crap.
Like, this sandwich ain't good when it's cold. You feel me? Like, he messed up my whole meal, but it's fine.
I get the turkey. Turkey extra jardinera.
What it say? 40, 35 West Harrison?
Is that car in your name? We could just run the plate on the car.
I could go and get my ID out the house.
Hold up on that.
What is coming back? 40, 35. We just moved over here. I got mail in the hallway. You want to see mail with my name on it, bro? I got mail right here in the hallway.
Stand by for 1 minute, please. I appreciate your patience.
Come on, bro. What was the description though? A guy with black pants on with a Levi jacket on that got fur around it. Was that really y'all description?
Acid wash jacket, which is what you're wearing.
So let me acid wash jacket. See you in the block.
Near 18th.
Man, it's bad timing, bro.
Let's have a conversation.
Bad timing, bro. Look, he already judged me before he even tried to stop me. He already had judged me already. Look at them niggas down there, bro. That's who be standing on the corner all the time. Look at them. Look at them. Don't look at me. Come on, bro. Fuck, I look like standing on the corner, bro. I got Ohio Place. I own property in Ohio, bro. I got my car registered out there because the taxes is cheaper, bro. I brought the car out there, bro. I own 3 properties, bro. I'm in the process of buying my 4th one. In Chicago, it'd be my first one, bro. I just tried to buy this building a month ago, bro. Come on, man.
To justify yourself to me, man.
I don't gotta sell drugs, bro. Stop judging people, bro.
I'm not judging you. Someone called on you.
Shut up.
Look, even if you didn't have 3 properties, that doesn't even matter.
Shit retarded. Just came from the hospital. I've been sitting with my mama all day, bro. Come on, man. All right, if you go to my car, I give you the keys to my car. You can look in the middle, bro. I just came from Rush Hospital. I got the time on there. I just spent overnight with my mama. I grabbed me a sandwich and came home, bro. My mama live all the way on the 3rd. My mama live at the top. My grandma live right here. I live right here on the 1st floor, bro.
Is that car in your name?
Don't worry about all that. You can just do what y'all want to do, bro.
Just make it easy.
Nah, y'all gonna look up my name. I want him to look stupid. Yup.
You gave me the right name, though, right?
Yes, bro.
I'm trying to get out of here, too, man. I got stuff to do today.
Hey, here. Where my keys at?
I tell you right now, man.
Look, bro. Here, listen. You can go in my car. It's a pass right there. Got my name, my face, and everything on it. It's from Rush Hospital. They use your ID to get the badge. You can go and look right now. If y'all don't want me going, if you don't want me going in the house to get my ID, bro, the badge is right there. I just came from Rush, bro.
Let me explain, man. So right now we're doing investigatory stop on
What I got a lie for? I'm telling you, my key right here, officer. Hands down. You can go right there in the middle, bro. I'm giving you permission, bro. You to go in the middle, bro. I know.
I'm not gonna do that. All right, if they keep calling on you, they're gonna keep.
Ain't nobody calling on me none. Ha ha. Bye bye. Get your ass out of here. And I told you was gonna have a walk of shame. Now you having to walk of shame with your dumb ass. Stupid. Shut up, stupid. Shut up, stupid. With your dumb ass. You stupid. Aha. Stupid. Every black person don't sell drugs, dummy. Stupid ass. You shouldn't even be a cop, stupid. Dumb ass.